My name is Coloma. I'm a Hamilton artist, born and raised. Been practicing mural painting for over 22 years now. And I'm here working at the AGH, doing a painting directly onto wall on a theme that is talking about the awareness of mental health. So when I moved back, I'm born and raised in Hamilton, so when I moved back to Hamilton from Toronto, there wasn't a lot of mural art happening. So I started just doing stuff on my own. There's a restaurant called Acclamation that used to have a really long wooden fence that was just dark brown, and I approached the owner and I thought, hey, do you mind if I just paint a mural on here for art crawl one day? Well, it was actually for art crawl, and they didn't mind, so I went down with one brush, one color, and I painted a giant fish, and I thought, hey, this is kind of fun. It seems to be getting a good response from people. And then from that piece, I was invited to do a painting on the old Tivoli Theatre, and I did a rabbit riding a tortoise, and a business owner saw that, asked me to do the exterior of his building that he owned, and I painted that one. And from there, it just became a lot of referrals. So I think that first fish one that I did on the fence was kind of the starting point of it all for here. So in doing the research for trying to come up with imagery, I saw a lot of themes that were very, very negative. So things with people with barbed wire or people imprisoned in their mind. And I thought that's a really tough image to swallow for someone if they're trying to overcome certain issues. So the direction I wanted to take was something more approachable that still showed the layers of complexity. So I came up with a metaphor of leaves and foliage and different types of leaves and how they're kind of intertwined. And it was important for me to do that because it seems, from my perspective, you can kind of approach obstacles when they have more of when they're more approachable. They aren't like a giant wall that inhibits you. It's something that's more conquerable. It's a sense of pride, it's a sense of ownership, it's a sense of confidence, it's all of those things. I think if you can kind of maintain a good eye contact with someone and talk about issues, it's almost empowering, right? So you have a good connection and you can kind of speak about things a little more freely. Honestly, if I was not painting, I would be struggling a lot more. I find having to do large-scale artwork for me, I really like the benefit that there's a bit of physicality to it. So, you know, it's not just movements of the wrist when you're at an easel and you're painting something smaller scale. Like you're up and down scaffolding and you're moving around. So I enjoy that physicality of it. And in terms of the imagery that I get to create, I find it really appealing because a lot of people seem to connect with the work that I do. So it feels good when you can do that. In a couple of the neighborhoods, I get to talk to people who've lived there for a long time, and it's always a sense of pride when they see the mural. You know, they can't believe that this artwork is in my neighborhood, and they're very happy it's there. I've spoken to a couple people and they're very protective sometimes. They say, oh, if anyone puts graffiti on this, you know, we'll take care of them. So there's a big sense of ownership in it, and it seems to make them happy. And a lot of people don't get to see the behind the scenes, so I think it's important for them to kind of almost keep guessing, you know, what direction the art's gonna go, how it's gonna look like in the end, and seeing how I like to build in layers. You know, it's almost these mini unveilings every time they stop by. And it's kind of fun because when we used to have art crawls before COVID, I really liked when people would come into my studio and ask questions about art and talk about the meaning behind things, because they really don't get to see that perspective when they're just looking at the finished artwork. You know, they get to pick my brain about how I arrived at this image, or why I did certain things, or even ask me about the struggles that I've had in completing the artwork. I think it's more meaningful because the original artwork I did 2019. So in explaining the theme of the artwork and the climate of society now with all these lockdowns and social isolations, people seem to be responding even more positively to the theme of the artwork. You know, that it's a lot more relatable to them and the struggles that they're having currently.